Rick, did you think you are? You didn't like American Tail? Children won't like it because it's an allegory for anti-Semitism. You pretentious. Children like mice.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. As we wrap up this year, I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to look back at some of my favourite non-super video films that stood out to me this year. I've written notes. You memorabilized. Well, it's been an interesting one this year. Studios are tripling down on nostalgia more than ever, while others deliver epic cinematic experiences that remind us why we go to the movies in the first place. Not everything worked out though, and some I couldn't stop thinking about. Regardless, these are the 2024 releases I consider my favourites, whether I just had fun watching them or I found some to be genuine masterpieces. Enjoy. Jump cut now. The first movie I'm going to be talking about is Dune Part 2 by Denis Villeneuve. I was a very big fan of the book, the first book, because it's one book split into two. It was very faithful to the original book. And I really enjoyed the cinematography by Greg Fraser. I don't know if I'm saying that right. His name is spelt weirdly, but he's Australian, so I respect him. The acting and the directing was obviously masterful because Villeneuve has proven himself on multiple occasions to be one of the best sci-fi directors out there. Timothée Chalamet has also proven himself to be one of the best up-and-coming actors of his generation, probably of the century, even if I would put up a clip of his acting if you want to watch that. But
I'm pointing the way!
Slow down.
Unara sagt und da verzieh ne flibit communi!
very enjoyable movie. I give it 5 out of 5 thumbs up.
I also watched Dune. I didn't read the book and I enjoyed it as well. And that's all I can say. If you didn't watch it in the cinema, then you missed out, frankly.
Yeah, on a big screen.
Same with Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
They're calling it the Manhattan Project.
Another movie that you definitely should have watched on the big screen was Furiosa, a Mad Max saga by Australian director George Miller. I promise I didn't watch these because they're Australian. They just happen to be very good.
It's a good year for Australia. Very good year for Australia.
Exactly, except for the Olympics.
Yeah, mate, freaking Ray Gun's out there suing everybody. Bloody, she's really full of herself, isn't she, mate?
Now, I was a very big fan of, I think, 2015's Mad Max Fury Road, also by George Miller. I'm glad that he decided to come back, even though he's 80-something. He's like Ridley Scott. It maintained the same frantic kind of energy as the same film, same fast-paced energy, the action sequences, the editing. It's, dare I say, impeccable. The casting was also a very big part of this because obviously Charlize Theron was not playing Furiosa. It was Anya Taylor-Joy, who does a very good job at playing the younger version, emulating the older version, and there was some really good kind of deep fakery going on with the child actor whose name I don't remember, but I know everyone uses deep fake as a bit of a scare word, but it worked. Call me Todd Howard, it just works.
And again, it just works.
Now, speaking of deepfakes, Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus was pretty good.
I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, it took me a while to warm up to it, though. I think I would have enjoyed it much more on a second viewing. I have only watched it once. Now, about the film, first of all, is it sticks very close to an established Alien formula. You know, I went into the film and I sort of felt like I'd already seen it before in some ways. Like, that shot is a direct rip-off of Aliens.
See, I'd gone into it knowing some of the worst things about it just based on the reaction online, so I kind of knew what to expect, so certain elements didn't surprise me as much as they should have. The main one, Ian Holm deepfake as, what's his name? Ash, the robot from the first movie. Obviously the actor has passed away and that movie was shot 40 odd years ago. They brought him back with the deepfake. If I hadn't heard about that beforehand, I probably would have had a more visceral reaction.
Yeah.
But I went into it knowing that that was going to happen, so I was like, I might as well just accept it. One of the things I didn't know was going to happen was the Offspring, which is the brand new alien design for this film. I'm not going to put up a picture of it because it's so creepy.
Put up a picture.
Put up a picture. You're all cursed now. You're all going to have nightmares. I've infected you. Yeah, one of the more creative designs obviously took very big inspiration from Prometheus, the engineers in Prometheus, which after seeing this film, I developed a new appreciation for Prometheus when previously I was like, this is the worst one. I'm giving Romulus 3.5 thumbs up out of 5, and I forgot to mention it, but I also give Furiosa 5 out of 5 because I enjoyed it so much.
And I'm not ready to give my Romulus score yet because I want to talk about this for so long because it's basically the only positive film I have to talk about.
Of course.
Rain was a relatively strong protagonist for the series. We haven't had many of those in recent years. Ripley in Resurrection was very unlikable. Prometheus and Alien Covenant, everyone seemed so incompetent and nothing they did had any like logic behind it. They just, were there to die.
And they just randomly kill off protagonists between movies off screen. Liz Shaw, Doctor Who reference.
Liz Shaw.
I like to think that's intentional because Ridley Scott invented the Dalek or
Yeah,
something.
he did. Well, he almost designed them.
Exactly.
And of course there was Andy, who was the
Oh yeah.
Andy Royd in the film.
I don't get it.
It actually took me embarrassingly long to. It was like halfway through the film. I was like, oh, Andy is like android. And compared to previous portrayals of androids in the series, like by Ian Holm and Lance Henriksen in Aliens, Fassbender. Well, I won't. Yeah, actually, Fassbender. Is it David Johnson? Yeah, his portrayal was much more. He was much more robotic, so you knew he was an android. But ironically, his android character also probably had the most emotional development out of all the androids in the series.
Connection to the main character,
yeah. Which really made that part of the story unique and interesting, something that we have not seen before.
He survived, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, spoilers. We'll put a spoiler warning at the
This
start.
whole video is a spoiler.
Even more emotional than Bishop in Aliens and his connection to Newt and Ripley. So that was good. All the other characters in the film, however, were really terrible. I did not care for any of them. I just didn't like any of the characters. In Alien, you don't actually know who's going to die because all the characters are treated with an equal level of importance.
There was no main character.
Yeah, up until the end when we finally, when we know Ripley is the one.
You think, what's his name? What's the captain?
Dallas.
You think he's going to be
Yeah,
the main
you think,
character?
you watch the film and you think, Dallas is going to survive, but he was the second, or he was the third one to go.
Whoa.
Spoilers, 50-year-old film, 45. So that's basically it. Yeah, well, in Romulus, within the first 5 minutes, Rain is the Ripley character. She will survive, and all these other characters are here to get killed off.
Mm-hmm. I just like how they're all kind of mostly unknown younger actors and getting them a start in Hollywood, at least some of them, they're going to go far.
Yeah,
probably.
And if you've seen the behind the scenes interviews they've done, they're actually all they have a good chemistry with each other. Unfortunately, that didn't really translate on screen for all of them.
Well, yeah, because the characters were written to hate each other.
Yeah. So for that, I'm giving it 3.5 thumbs up as well. That's what he gave it, I believe.
Now, I haven't seen many films by M. Night Shyamalan. Obviously, everyone knows about The Sixth Sense. I saw so many trailers for this film, and the reaction online was very, wait a second, this might actually be good. And I was watching it and I'm like, this is a very compelling premise for a film, and that film is Trap. It's more of a kind of action thriller based than some of his more horror, body horror, whatever type of films. I enjoyed the lead actor Josh Hartnett in Oppenheimer. and what else was he in? He was in the later season of Black Mirror. It looked like a very good film, even if I was going to go watch it for so bad it's good sake. I checked it out for pure entertainment value, and for the first half of the film I was thoroughly entertained because it was like many people have said this, a Hitman level brought to life, basically, where he's running around the stadium.
And he loves Hitman.
Watch our other video. He's putting on disguises, he's setting traps for people, he's blowing people up, all while trying to let his daughter watch a concert where the lead singer is played by nobody important. It's the director's daughter.
Ah.
She's a singer in real life.
Ah.
Do you know J.J. Abrams' daughter is a singer?
Did
Whatever.
you know that Sabrina Carpenter's aunt is
John Carpenter?
What the hell's her name? Who
I don't
does
know.
the Sims? Bart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright?
Yeah. Nancy Cartwright. Say what you want about Nancy Cartwright.
Do you know who the voices are on that show?
No, not really.
Well, shake my hand. 'Cause
I'm going to say what I want about Trap. The second and third acts were a bit weird because it suddenly shifts focus and suddenly the singer is the main character, spoiler alert. I wanted more time at the concert because that was the most interesting part of the film, even if just the third act of the last half hour maybe left the concert. It was a bit weird to leave it so soon when that was the whole premise. The rest of the film takes place at his house, and there's way too many conveniences for me to ignore, although I haven't seen enough Shyamalan films to know if that's a common thing or not. I'm just going off what I know from this one movie. 3 out of 5 thumbs up because the first half was good.
And the two other films I watched this year, I didn't watch many new films, but the two other new releases I saw were both documentaries, and I'm going to lump them together because I was equally disappointed in both of them. There was the Martin Scorsese Beatles documentary, Beatles 64, and the Beach Boys documentary from Disney Plus. Well, they're both on Disney Plus. Starting with the Martin Scorsese one. Now, I'm a huge Beatles fan, but frankly, I thought it was a massive letdown. Seeing the archive footage from the Beatles' first tour in America was, very interesting. I watched Let It Be and Get Back so I can sit down and watch the Beatles just talk for hours. Yeah, I can watch them talk for hours, and that part of the film was interesting, watching them on trains, smoking their cigarettes, listening to the radio, making little comments about everything. However, then there was sort of shoehorned in modern day interviews that lacked any insight. Like if you're a Beatles fan, you know these things, and seeing some celebrity who's vaguely related to the Beatles say these things isn't really, it doesn't say anything.
I didn't get that far through it. Who were some of the main celebrities? I remember Scorsese being in the actual film. And
I think Paul McCartney, Ringo, and I don't remember any of the other ones because
was John? Did they interview John?
They used some archive footage of John. Unfortunately, he passed away. I don't know if you know this.
I didn't even know he was sick.
It was like died 50 years ago, probably.
Did he? I didn't
Yeah.
even know he was sick.
He wasn't. Well,
So I don't like that documentary at all because I'd much rather watch the Beatles touring years, 8 days a week.
Oh yeah.
Documentary from a few years ago. I highly recommend that one. And then there was the Beach Boys documentary, which was the most milquetoast, which, by the way, I didn't realize this until recently, but it's spelled like this.
With a Q.
With a Q. Where's the milk? It didn't say anything. If you're watching a Beach Boys documentary and you walk away thinking, that Mike Love guy, he's pretty cool. I like him. He was very nice. I don't know why they didn't like him. Look at how cool he is. Then frankly, the documentary has failed. And it's not a documentary, it's a retelling. You'd have more fun reading the Wikipedia article for the Beach Boys than you would watching this documentary. So I recommend you go into Wikipedia and read that.
Link in description.
Link in description to the Wikipedia article for the Beach Boys. I give it 1 thumb up. Both.
Wow.
1 thumb up.
Now, you might be thinking this is the end of the video, but you would be wrong, because I've decided to list a few honourable mentions, being some classic older films that I happened to watch for the first time this year that didn't necessarily release this year. The first one I've got here is Minority Report by Steven Spielberg. Very good film. Spielberg is obviously very good. Watch The Fabelmans, watch any Steven Spielberg film. Tom Cruise is also very good in that film. It was a very compelling concept. I'd obviously heard of the concept before. What if you could predict crime before it happens? And then I watched it and it was like, wow, this is a very good film. Directing, just everything. The cast even, Tom Cruise and Colin Farrell and one of those old guys, Max von Sydow or something. They were all very good. Speaking of amazing casts, I also watched The Hateful Eight for the first time, surprisingly. A surprise if you knew me, because I really enjoyed Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained, but this one I probably enjoy as the better Tarantino Western. It's obviously a very slow burn film, very tense, shot like a play, very theatrical, kind of takes place on one stage the whole time really, and it's all about the chemistry between the actors and the acting and the dialogue and the plot twists. Say what you will about Quentin Tarantino, but he is very good at that stuff. The cast is obviously very good. I'll put up a list. Kurt Russell, Walton Goggins, Jennifer Jason Leigh, etc. And there's another one that I watched for the first time by Martin Scorsese, not the Beatles documentary because I couldn't finish it, but Goodfellas, which I did finish. I kind of watched it in chunks. I never sat down and watched the whole thing in one go, but I have seen the whole film by now. Very good performance by Ray Liotta and Joe Pesci. Very funny film. Most people don't know that Scorsese is...
Funny how?
He's a comedy director, really. That film was hilarious.
Watch his TikToks.
And I love the editing and the energy of those films. Just watch The Departed. The Departed.
Microprocessors.
Micro what?
Microprocessors.
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 I didn't write a conclusion for this video, so I'm going to look into the camera the whole time and not at my teleprompter. I'm not even going to blink. Thank you for watching our video. This was a very quick idea that I thought we would do before the end of the year. This is our end of year movie roundup. Hopefully there's no other movies that come out in the next 7, 8, 9 days or so. I don't know, when's the 31st? 2 weeks?
11 days.
11 days. Hopefully no more masterpieces come out between now and then. I'm not going to go see Wicked. I'm not going to go see Kraven the Hunter. I saw Gladiator, that was very good, but I didn't write any notes for it. I blinked. So that is the end of the video. Goodbye.
If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you didn't stay this far, then you're not hearing this.
We could say whatever we wanted.